Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about Samantha Josephson, and this story is really crazy. It shocked me to my core because this is something that could have happened to me or to anybody I know. This has to do with a young woman who was just about to graduate college and, a ride-sharing app like Uber, things like that, which I take all the time, especially when I travel to New York. I use it, I rely on it. And even around here when I go out with my girlfriends or like we're all going out, there's times I rely on it, especially on girls' nights, because we're all going home to different houses, so we'll all end up taking different Ubers. So this one really got to me. Definitely something worth watching, especially if you have younger daughters or you take the ride-sharing app yourself. I'm gonna get into it. Samantha Josephson, she was a college student and she was actually just about to graduate and then move on to Drexel Hill University, which is just down the street from me, and going to go into law school. So she had a bright future, a head on her shoulders. She was clearly intelligent. Her dad nicknamed her Sweet Pea when she was younger. Her family and friends say that she was nice to everybody. Everybody knew her. She didn't have a mean bone in her body. She had a boyfriend and he had just graduated and they wanted to spend their lives together and they really were looking into the future. So on March 28th, her and her roommates decided to all go out, which was a Thursday night, going to Bird Dog, which was a typical area in town. It was in the downtown part of District of Columbia, South Carolina. And this was a really popular area where a lot of the college students would go bar hopping. Now somehow before 2 a.m. she wasn't with her friends, which has happened to me many times in college, where you would go out as a group and somehow either one girl goes home with her boyfriend or one of the guys she's dating comes and picks her up, or say I want to stay and another girl doesn't want to stay and I'm here with a friend, and things just happen to where you're a little bit drunk and you're not with the people you came with, or you're by yourself, or they had already left, which isn't always the smartest, especially being a young woman that late at night, intoxicated. And I can vouch and say this, that this has happened to me. In the moment, you're like, oh, I'll be fine. You're not thinking worst case scenario. Like, it won't happen to me. I've done this many times. I've been here many times, which is really, in all reality, really stupid way to think, honestly. She ended up wanting to leave the bar and she ended up ordering an Uber. So there's actually footage of her last moments. She was seen outside of the bar, kind of just waiting, and you could tell that there was lots of people around. It was a busy area, and that at 2:09 a.m. a black Chevy Impala shows up, slows down right where Samantha was standing in the video. You can see her go up to the car. It seems as though in the video when she walks up to the car, it's locked, because you can see her pull once and then it doesn't open, and it takes a second for the driver to unlock it, and then she pulls the handle again. So she gets in and it leaves. So she gets into the car, which she's thinking, I'm assuming, is the Uber, which it wasn't, and that's the last time they see her. And sadly, he never ends up bringing her home. So her boyfriend ends up tracking her phone, and he's at college about 2 hours away. He noticed that it wasn't typical of her whereabouts, but he really couldn't do anything because he was far. And this is where you should always trust your gut instinct, obviously. But I'm kind of like, why was he tracking her phone? I mean, my husband's always worried about me and stuff, but when I go out, I don't think he tracks my phone. I don't know. Let me know below what you guys think about that. I thought that was a little weird. I don't know, totally off topic. Next morning, her roommates noticed she wasn't home and they were a little bit worried about her, but then they were like, oh, maybe she went to another friend's house or something, stayed there, and then was going to go right to work the next morning. Well, she worked at a restaurant where she was a waitress, and so what they did was they called the owners of the restaurant, they called the restaurant looking for her. No one had seen her, and then that's when they got pretty worried and started panicking, and they called the police. And this was at 1:30 p.m. The police ended up coming and talking to all the roommates, gathering all the information they could. They ended up sharing her photo pretty quickly to the media, and they were actually releasing the last footage that we had seen. Just a few hours later, in Clarendon County, southeast of District of Columbia, 2 turkey hunters were about 40 feet off the road when they were about to go, and they ended up coming across this woman that wasn't alive, and so they panicked, were upset, they called the police. The police got there and they immediately knew that it was her because she was wearing the exact same thing that she was wearing on the footage, and just looking at her, she had bruises and everything all over her body that looked like it was done with a sharp object. It was on her neck, her feet, her legs, her stomach, her arms. She was like badly beat up. They ended up wanting to find the person in the black Chevy because that's clearly who she was last seen with, and they came to find out that he was ultimately not her real Uber driver. Then about 24 hours later, around 3 a.m. is when actually pulled over a black Chevy Impala that they had seen on the road, and they wanted to check things out. The officer asked him to step out of the vehicle. He did, and as soon as his feet touched the ground, he went off running. He didn't get far. They got him right away, and as soon as they looked in his vehicle, they found a whole bunch of really bad stuff. Container of liquid bleach, germicidal wipes, and window cleaner. The car also contained her cell phone. What's crazy too is the child locks were enabled, so if she was sitting in the back seat, she wouldn't have been able to get out. She would have had to put up a fight. After this all happened, her parents went on to create What's My Name Foundation, and since then, a lot of laws have actually went into effect. Now they have to display their license plate number in the front of the car. In New Jersey, rideshare companies have to give place cards, 2 of them to each driver, so that they could place it on the driver side and the passenger backside windows, the driver's name and photo along with the numbers, the license plate numbers. In North Carolina of 2020, now they have to have illuminated signs on their windshields, which is great. I know my husband always gets on me, before you get in, you make sure it's the right license plate, it's the right make and model, and you ask them their name. You don't tell them your name first. That's like always a big thing. Always say, what's your name? Don't say, hi, I'm Angela, are you my Uber? Like, that's the worst you could do. So I wanted to bring awareness to this because I just feel like people use this all the time, and it's something you just don't even think about, and you really should because it is dangerous. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.